Portland gun violence continues to escalate. And with another deadly incident just this morning, it's likely the city also has a new homicide record. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Folkers. 2 people were killed in Old Town overnight. Portland police expect this to be the 71st and 72nd homicides of 2021. That means the city has surpassed the record number of 70 homicides set in 1987. So here's what we know about this latest shooting. Officers responded to a report of gunshots at an apartment building on the 300 block of Northwest 6th Avenue just before 6:30 this morning. That's where they found 2 people dead and a third person, Michael Van Domelen, still at the scene. He was arrested and now faces charges for first-degree murder. This case is just part of the 19 shootings Portland police are tracking from over the weekend. Many of them happened on the city's east side. What you're looking at here is a map that shows the location officers were sent to from Friday at 12:39 in the morning to the homicide this morning at 6:25 in Old Town. The Portland Police Bureau says at least 95 bullet casings were recovered in connection to the different shootings, and it's a wide mix of incidents. Several people were arrested and a number of firearms were recovered by police. To read more about each of these shootings police are investigating from the weekend, you can just head over to our website, kgw.com. Well, turning our attention now to the weather and the unusual storm that we're riding this weekend. The thing is, depending on where you are, it could look very different. Galen Etlin gives us the big picture and how some local agencies are taking on the challenge.
People here are used to a little rain. But this was more than just a little.
This year has been a year of some extreme weather.
Hannah Schaefer with the Portland Bureau of Transportation says crews are working extra this weekend and into the night.
We have over 58,000 storm drains in the city of Portland. That's a lot.
They're helping keep those drains clear and streets from flooding.
We can't always get to them all, so we do ask Portlanders to check out the storm drains near them.
If blockage is more than just a few leaves, people should call PBOT for help. And it wasn't just Portland that saw the bands of rain pummel through. Skycams around the region show a similar mix of heavy rain and patchy sun spanning from the gorge to the coast. This time-lapse showing the quick changes in Newport's Yaquina Bay. And Cannon Beach feeling that wind. Rough surf and a fight between the sun and gray sky. The revolving weather is all a result of this record-breaking bomb cyclone off the coast, bringing with it a volatile day of wind and those heavy raindrops. From California, where this damage sits in San Francisco, to Washington, where waves crashed.
It's something that we prepare for.
Drew Hansen works for Pacific Power, which saw some outages Sunday. But after recent extreme weather events, the company hired on some experts to help this year.
Why was it important to bring meteorologists into your team?
We know generally where the highest impact areas are going to be. How would that impact our systems from, southern Washington all the way down to northern California, because that's a very diverse landscape, and that really helps with our decision making and resource allocation.
And events like this can be made worse by past weather. February's historic ice storm, for example, and the summer's record-breaking heat wave.
Extreme temperatures either direction can put stress on trees,
increasing potential for downed branches and power lines.
That's something that we're mindful of as well going into these kind of weather weekends.
But at its most basic, PBOT says storms like this remind everyone to play it safer. Keep your headlights on and be mindful that broken traffic lights become four-way stops. And if you can, stay home to enjoy the rain. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
High winds and fallen trees kept power companies busy today. You can see right now PGE has 59 total outages and close to 1,600 customers affected as far south as Salem. At the peak, more than 16,000 PGE customers were without power. We've been talking with the power company officials all day to try and get a sense of when they'll finish restoring power to all customers. They say the safety of their crew and you are their top priority. Crews are working to return service as we speak. And take a look at this. This is a look at the situation Pacific Power is facing. As you can see, they have 35 outages, and that means 943 customers are affected. It was a messy commute for some living in Hillsborough as well. An elementary school is also without a greenhouse because of these strong winds from the storm. This is just some of the video sent out today by Hillsborough police. First, you can see what remains of the greenhouse in a driveway of Eastwood Elementary. Police say a school district team helped clean up the mess. They also sent out this video saying flash flooding caused some treacherous driving around the entire city. And then take a look at this one. This is a picture of a downed tree that hit an unoccupied truck. Luckily, nobody was in there, but we know that this can cause such a big mess. Luckily, I didn't lose my power in North Portland today, but the winds were just whipping around.
Peak winds at Portland International Airport were at 43 miles per hour, and that's definitely enough to knock out some power. And we could easily see some more power outages late tonight and into tomorrow. The winds are still going to be kind of a big factor heading into the early part of the work week and into tomorrow. But as we look at the satellite and radar up and down the I-5 corridor, we're looking at some spotty showers, and that's basically what we're going to be seeing heading into the next couple of hours and into tomorrow morning as well. The really intense thunderstorms, though, are going to be up and down the northern part of the Oregon coast and especially along the Washington coastline. But you can see that big circulation. That is that bomb cyclone we've been telling you about, and it's a record low pressure system for this part of the Pacific. Low pressure system has been just intensifying over the last couple of days, bringing in widespread rain and thunderstorms. Meanwhile, up and down the California coast, they got some much needed rain. And I just looked at some of the numbers and through parts of some of the northern parts of California. Sacramento, well over 5 inches of rain. They could easily close in on the wettest day they've ever seen. Here locally, our rainfall amounts weren't all that impressive. In fact, we saw more yesterday. We saw about 2/10 of an inch of rain this afternoon. You can see Hillsborough, you saw about over 1/2 of an inch. Some of it because of those really intense thunderstorms that rolled through. We saw a good line that moved in through parts of southwest Washington, and that was about it. That was right around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And even along the Oregon coast, you didn't see much in terms of rainfall. The other thing we're going to be looking at heading into tomorrow is going to be the winds. It's going to be a big factor really up and down the Oregon coastline. With Newport, you're going to be seeing gusts up to about 40, 45 miles per hour. Some locations could be seeing gusts closer to 60 miles per hour. And because of that, we do have some watches and warnings. High wind warning in effect up and down the Oregon coastline. This orange color you see is a wind advisory that's in effect until tomorrow morning about 5 o'clock. But again, Brittany, gusts are still going to be right around 30 to 40 miles per hour a good part of tomorrow. And we'll also be seeing some scattered showers as well. I'll talk more about that a little later on.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. And it's not just the winds we're talking about. Did anyone out there on the coast wake up to a little shaking this morning? Yeah, a 4.7 magnitude earthquake actually struck about 110 miles west of Coos Bay just after 5 o'clock this morning. The tremor was about 6 miles deep, but it didn't trigger any tsunami warnings. And according to USGS, at least 11 people told them they felt it. Last night, Portland police warned about illegal so-called sideshows happening around the metro, and last night they made multiple arrests. So you probably hear us say that term sideshows, and that is a fully encompassing term to mean all of the illegal activity that happens in these street takeover events. According to the PPB, the multi-agency enforcement team took 4 people into custody. They're facing charges of reckless driving, unlawful street takeover, attempt to elude, and hit and run. 2 cars were towed, and more officers are on the streets tonight looking for more of those sideshows. A building in southeast Portland is a total loss following a 2-alarm fire overnight off Powell Boulevard. Firefighters were called to the area around 2:30 this morning near the intersection of 28th Avenue. The structure was boarded up, but the flames also damaged 2 buildings nearby. Investigators did respond to the scene, but they haven't conducted a scene examination yet. That's going to happen tomorrow. If anyone has information about this, you should contact the Portland Fire Tip Line. These types of large fires are why firefighters in Tualatin are practicing a special skill to remove heat, smoke, and volatile gases from buildings. On Friday, they practiced roof ventilation skills using chainsaws and some other tools. The structures were all donated for training purposes, and it gave crews a realistic setting to hone their skills. The most important benefit for firefighters is it can improve their safety, not just inside a hot and toxic building, but it can also help people inside.
Safety is key, and it makes us more fast at what we do inside there. We can move more freely and we can have a better view of what our job is in there as well.
This week's training also allowed firefighters to practice using their new breathing apparatus and air cylinders. They allow for enhanced communication, which is, of course, critical for firefighters' safety. For many kids in our area, the food programs at their schools might be the only stable nourishment that they get every week. Well, a local teen wanting to help others is working with a nonprofit that helps feed kids on the weekends when there's no school and no school lunches. Here's Christelle Kumwe.
On a rainy Sunday afternoon,
right now people are packing bags of food, they're sorting food, getting everything organized.
A common goal brings this small group of people together in Northeast Portland.
A couple of my friends and a bunch of people from our scout troop and other troops in the area.
All on a mission spearheaded by 17-year-old Boy Scout Tabor Catrinos.
Being hungry sucks, and I don't think anyone deserves that.
So, for his Eagle Scout project, Tabor decided to help kids in his community who are food insecure with a fundraiser.
I just reached out to everyone I could and just got them to post it on their stories and stuff and share it around, and we ended up getting a lot of people to donate.
He ended up with over $3,000, which he used to fill this room with food and snacks for the kids he wanted to help. With each bag filled with mac and cheese, fruit, and granola bars, they add a personal touch.
Writing letters that are going to be placed in each bag with a positive message for the community, just to let the kids know that their community cares about them and that somebody's thinking about them.
Tabor and friends are packing over 600 bags full of food. Now, this project is in partnership with Portland Backpack, a nonprofit that provides food bags to children at risk of hunger.
But to us, having people use their own hands and hearts to pack the food sacks makes all the difference. So,
Diane Rios leads Portland Backpack, which will distribute these bags to students on Friday. It will help those who rely on free school meals during the week to have a little food last through the weekend. Rio says food insecurity is more prevalent now, more than ever before.
all of our schools have told us that they've heard from parents that they've never heard from before. People who asked for help with food, who didn't need it pre-pandemic.
As the need in the community continues to grow, so too will the urgency of volunteers like Tabor.
I think it's important for people to come in on this Sunday, whether it's your time off work or your time off school, and to come volunteer your time and help, because we're making a positive impact in the community.
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.